Dude, what are you doing? Dude, stop. Dude, cut that out. Dude, stop. Stop. Dude, stop it. Stop it. Stop. Stop. Oh, my back. Oh. Why did you do that? Well, I guess I'm stuck here, so might as well tell you what's up. Dude, I made a film, dude. Wow.
Oh, dude, I'm so indie coded.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, I know what you're thinking. Guy makes a crappy film, thinks he's an expert, and he's gonna teach us the ways of filmmaking. Yep, well, I'm not gonna do that, so... Oh, wait. Alright, but in all seriousness, I recently made my first ever short film. It's not the best thing in the world, it's nothing crazy, but it's my first short film and I worked really hard on it. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link right here and you can go watch it. I recommend to, because, you know, spoilers and such. Alright, you watched it? You're back? Alright, good. Now we can get to business. Basically, in this video, I'm just going to go over some behind the scenes of how I made Escape. How was it done? Why was it done? How was it done? I'll go through my creative process a little bit and dive a little bit into how I turned a 2-year-old idea into my first ever short film, as the title suggests. And you can too, maybe. I don't know for sure. I don't know. I'm just a beginner. Probably should not listen to me. Now, I'll try and keep this short and concise, but I'm not really a video essay guy, so I guess we'll see how this goes. Alright, so obviously every story starts with an idea, and just in my case, that idea came to me very late at night 2 years ago, and for whatever reason, I was determined to turn this into a short film. Like right away. I filmed it the same night, and let me tell you, it was horrible. All I had to make this thing was a vague idea, my iPhone, and my two very separated front teeth. I did post this on YouTube, but I was so ashamed of how bad it was that I privated the video pretty much instantly. And that's saying something, because I still have I Spent 5 Nights with Obama set to public. Please do not watch that video, by the way. I will be showing clips from this first draft, but if you want to see the full thing, I have put it on public again, so I'll put a link here if you really want to see it. Warning you now, it's not good. And the old version is very different from the new one in a lot of ways, and I'll cover that in a moment. When I first thought of Escape, the vision I had for it came with like a completely different message. The old Escape was a short film about how the internet is often used as a temporary escape from your fears and feelings, but that bliss is short-lived and will soon fade, only to be relit the next time you open your screen, shown as a perpetual cycle. I know, right? Died in 1999, born in 2006. Welcome back, Stanley Kubrick. I mean, it's safe to say my first go at this was pretty shit. But that's a good thing, because what doesn't kill us only makes us stronger. Except for like a spinal injury, then you just get paralyzed. I'm sure everyone's had moments like this, like little sparks of inspiration or whatnot. And more often than not, all of these ideas will turn out terrible. And don't gaslight yourself into thinking it's good and then get angry when somebody disagrees, because I've been down that path. It's very cringe. Instead, you look at these moments as a learning opportunity. When I first made Escape, I just like barely scraped the surface of like my interest in photography and videography and like the creative arts, I guess, content creation included. But you know, since 2 years ago, I've bought and used multiple professional cameras, taught myself photo editing and processing, as well as landing myself a pretty nice mirrorless camera, which allowed me to do more video stuff and learn that as well. Safe to say, I've learned a lot about this stuff since 2 years ago. And after making that, I never really thought about Escape again until like 6 months ago. I was taking a media class for college, and the whole point of it was like teaching you the process behind making media. And so for one of the assignments, we had to write a story to then base a film or whatever off of. I then immediately remembered Escape and began working on a way to turn it into an actual story that was worth telling. You see, the first time, the execution, not great, but the visuals of it, at least what I had imagined for it, I could not get out of my head. I knew that if I was going to make this into something that was more than just a long cut of me staring at static for like a minute straight, then I definitely needed a better story. And you know, the best things you can do when making something like this is to write it down first. Even if you suck at writing like me, writing your story down makes it so much easier to follow. You really shouldn't think of an idea and then film it that night and be like, ah, I've got it. A story or a script is the basis for every film. It definitely does not have to be perfect, and you don't even have to stick with it. I mean, I changed a good amount of things from my original story. If you want to read what I wrote, I'm going to put it up here. You could pause and read that if you want. You do not have to. For this new version of Escape, I wanted to keep like the mysterious aspects of it and the unique aspects of it, but add a lot more liminality to it, and also just generally more story in there. I also made it black and white for narrative reasons. As you may have picked up on, this film is big inspired by House of Leaves, at least partially. And I say partially because I did not finish the book, and I also say partially because there was a lot of other inspiration as well, including, but not limited to, Skinamarink, Omori, You Should Have Left, Long Legs, Kane Pixel's Backrooms, and Liminal Spaces in general. Now that might sound like a lot, but putting all these together, I was able to come up with a story that I was happy with and something I could work with. I will now read a summary for anyone who didn't want to read all that. Trapped in a colorless, never-ending labyrinth of a house, a lone boy endlessly searches for an exit. His only comfort found in a brief glimpse of a dreamlike world through a mysterious, static-filled TV. After what feels like years of grayscale wandering and despair, he sees a bluebird out of his window. A small glimpse of hope drawing him further towards escape. That's the basis. That's the story. I really loved the idea of the bird being the only thing in color because it drew importance and attention towards the bird while also pointing out the grayscale, the sadness of this place that the boy is trapped in. I'm not saying it was a great plot, but it was good enough for me. At its core, Escape is a film about finding hope in the worst of circumstances. However, below the surface, I had my own deeper meaning of the story, which I will get into later on, but I purposely avoided explicitly stating this. I wanted this film to be something that people could attach their own meaning and their own ideas to. I think it's important for films, especially like this one, to be able to work with a lot of different meanings and messages for whomever may be watching. Not all the time, but it is nice. You could be like, what's going on there? Yeah. And then Sherlock Holmes that shit. I don't know. And now that I did have a story together, I could have somebody look it over, critique it to try to make it better. But that's for nerds, so I went straight into storyboarding. Everyone take out your crayons, the ones with the sharpeners in the back, it's time to draw. This is the part where everything started to, come together. And as I talk, I can show some of my storyboards behind me here. I had never storyboarded up to this point, so this was very new to me, and I did enjoy this process a lot. Being able to visualize these scenes and tweak how they look just through a drawing is so nice, especially when before everything I filmed, I just do off memory. When you sketch these scenes together, it really starts to form like a coherent picture of like what your film will look like. That gives you room to change things and make things better than they were before. This was my first time ever storyboarding, and I will definitely keep doing it because this made the process so much more manageable. I did a lot of research on shots and angles and blah 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 and blah blah blah, so being able to apply those into my sketches, it made everything come together as I wanted to see it when I did film. One of the things the storyboards helped me do specifically was solidify the bird as a plot device. The bird was kind of like an idea I threw around to progress the story forward that didn't really have much of an impact until I started storyboarding and could really visualize where I would put it and how it would work. My favorite scenes to draw were definitely the dream sequences. These I was so excited about doing because this was one of the main visions I had for it when I first thought of this. I liked the idea of the hand-drawn animation, the graphite sketches, and it's like jittery. It turned out amazing. It turned out so good. I really have to thank my brother Logan for that. He is a very talented animator. He did most of the animations for this. He's also a game designer. But yeah, definitely check him out. If I have any of his links to share, I will put them in the description. I did all the sketching and the storyboards for these scenes, but he was able to take those and turn it into my vision, basically, which was really cool. I mean, if we had more time to work on this, would have gone all out and making the animations perfect, but I think they turned out really cool. So on to filmmaking. This was my first time ever doing anything of this scale. The only other thing I had ever filmed was the music video I did, so I was stepping into unknown territory here. It was definitely a challenge. One of the main issues I ran into was scheduling. The first scenes that I filmed for Escape were actually the house scenes, I guess, where he first finds the TV, and there were some issues. First of all, those shots were done like 2 or 3 months before I had shot anything else for the film, and the reason for that was that the location I was filming at was actually my grandma's house, and she had recently passed away, and they had cleaned the place out to sell it. Although very sad, I had been searching for a filming location for a while at that point, and this was a one and done opportunity. They had people coming in to look at that house like every day of the week, so it was gonna sell quick. And I knew it would be a waste to postpone filming until after this opportunity had passed, so I got a day that was free, and I had 2 hours to film every scene that I could in that place in those 2 hours. And I barely got everything done. I was filming the last scene as a family walked in to look at the open house. You know, the scene where I'm Kubrick staring at the TV for like a minute straight? That one. And they just walk in and see my big tripod and my TV set up, and they're like, oh, are we intruding? I had to just be like, no, you guys are good. You guys are awesome. So I did end up getting at least one take of all the scenes I needed. If you're wondering why my hair changes so much in those scenes, that's why. It had a 3-month difference in filming. And obviously, I do not have a hair and makeup department. After that, I didn't really work on the film for like a month or two, because at that point, I didn't have a reason to rush it until my college announced that they were doing a little awards ceremony for people in the arts department. And I am not in film classes, but I thought it'd be cool to take this idea and then submit it in a film category. So, 2 months later, in a new deadline, I'm back to filming this thing. Through making this film, I learned a lot about videography and video editing. Lots of different types of shots and lighting techniques, all really cool, all really fun. My favorite lighting technique I did was obviously the window scenes. So I got this cheap like Spirit Halloween smoke machine from somebody I knew, and I woke up bright and early, like 6 in the morning. I moved all my furniture out of the way in my living room, and I waited till the sun rose and hit my windows, and I pumped that thing full of smoke. Like if that smoke was real, I'd have like triple black lung. That thing was filled up. And luckily for me, it was sunny that day, and the sun rose into the window, and it just looked perfect, dude. I mean, perfect. Like the light rays I drew in my drawings were not even this cool. Like this blew me away how cool these shots looked. I was so proud of these. And yeah, if you were wondering, that's completely natural sunlight. I did not have any artificial lighting there. It was just amazing luck that the weather was good that day and everything else fell into place. And I did some more with filming, but it was more of the post-processing that really did me in. You see, I had never used a professional editing software before until now. I already despise Adobe, so I said, hey, why not download DaVinci Resolve? So not only am I making a short film for the first time ever, but I now have to teach myself DaVinci Resolve. Yay. This was a big struggle. I did not get it at first. It took a big learning curve, but I eventually came around, and I now, because of this project, know DaVinci Resolve pretty good, I'd say. I know pretty good. I know my way around a DaVinci. Call me DaVinci Code. Yeah, I can use a mask in the filter tab. So yeah, all the post-processing effects, all of the everything was done by me. The compositing work, the blah blah blah, the everything. Like I said, my brother Logan, he helped with the animations. I only did 1 or 2 small ones. He did the big ones that mattered, so props to him again. But yeah, all the compositing work, all the editing, all the sound design. Oh, the sound design. Don't even get me started on the sound design. That was really fun. That was really fun. I love doing the sound design, honestly. There's nothing more satisfying than when you just nail it. You just nail the sound design, and you watch it back, and you're just like, oh, like you melt in your chair. And I 100% feel that sound design is one of the most, if not the most important thing for a film or a video or whatnot. Without good sound design, your film will just fall completely flat. So even though I had never done this before, never done sound design like this, I gave a shot at it. I think I did okay. It's not perfect, but it's alright. And overall, this turned out amazing. I was so happy with this. I know there's issues with it. It's not perfect. This is not Game of the Year. There's no awards going out besides the one I won. I don't know. I'm recording this before I found out. But if nothing else, this was an experience that taught me a whole lot about film, taught me a whole lot about the technical aspects behind it, the creative process, and I am so much further into that knowledge-wise than I ever was before starting this. It all started 6 months ago, but like I said, I had a little break, so the majority of it was done in about 2 to 3 months. And, I think I did a pretty good job. I had to make some cuts in some places. It's not perfect. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I met the deadline, and hopefully it does well at the competition. If I post it and it says award-winning, you know that it won. In terms of the meaning behind the film, I already explained the basic plot. Like I said before, I kind of want you to come to your own conclusions, but for me personally, I'm sure you can guess it's a metaphor or reflection of some hardships that I've dealt with in my own life. I'm not going to dig deep into it, but I'm sure you can guess. For a lot of other people out there, they may have felt a similar way because of something else. And that's perfectly valid, and that's what I want out of this, is I want people to take this and see it in their own way that applies to them. Obviously, there's the base plot of the film, but, you know, do what you want. I'm also not going to act like this is like, oh, this film is so deep and crazy, Like, it's really not that deep. It just is something that I wanted to make, whatever. At the end of the day, this was a challenge for myself, and to see what I can do in such a short time. And, I mean, comparing the two, if we look at, like, scenes side by side, the difference in just 2 years, it's a lot. It's a lot of progress. I mean, looking at the two, and I think I want to continue that trend. I think I like that. And maybe like another 2 or 4 years, maybe I'll remake this film again, but with my new knowledge and my new skills and my new tools. And maybe in a few years, it'll be even bigger, even better than what I did. Maybe I'll hire an actor to play the character and I'll direct. Or maybe I'll spend some real time on it, getting the animation down perfect. I could make it longer, I could make it shorter, I could make the story better. Yeah, you know, this could be my Roman Empire. This could be the Half-Life to my Valve. Oh no, but then I'd never make a third one. But you know, this has been a really cool experience for me, and I just kind of wanted to yap about it for a bit, so that's all this is. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really know where they're gonna be, but at the end of this video, there should be some videos pop up. If you haven't already watched those, please watch those. They're pretty cool, I think. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk, aka Yap session. I will now take my leave. Well, I could be like going on an elevator or something. I'm on a green screen. I could do anything I want. Am I out of frame? I'm not out of frame. I'm on the floor. I can't go lower. Is it still going? How am I gonna get out of here?